The snow was falling so thick it looked like the world had gone quiet. The streets were empty, except for one figure huddled at a lonely bus stop, shivering beneath a thin coat. It was almost midnight. The last bus had long passed. And that was when he saw her. Ethan Cross didn't usually drive himself anywhere. The billionaire CEO of Crosswell Industries had a driver, an assistant, and a life so carefully arranged that even his late-night coffee was scheduled. But that night, something made him take the wheel. Maybe it was the exhaustion after another day of ruthless boardroom meetings, or maybe it was fate. As his black Range Rover rolled down the icy street, the beam of his headlights caught her, a young woman clutching her scrubs bag, snow gathering in her hair, her lips trembling. He almost drove past, almost. But something inside him twisted. He slowed the car, rolled down the window and called out, "Hey, you're going to freeze out here. Do you need a ride?" She looked startled, hesitant. "No, thank you, I'll wait for the bus." He glanced at the frozen timetable. "There's no more buses tonight," he said quietly. "You'll freeze before morning." She looked down at her shoes, cheap sneakers soaked through, and he could see her hand shaking. "Come on," he said more softly, opening the door. "You're coming with me." Her name was Lily Hart, 26, a nurse who had just finished a double shift at St. Mary's Hospital. Her mother was sick, and her younger brother was in college. Every paycheck was stretched thin. That night, she'd missed the last bus after staying late to comfort a dying patient's family. When she climbed into Ethan's car, the heat from the vents felt like heaven. She tried not to look at him, but she noticed everything: the expensive watch, the crisp coat, the scent of cologne that probably cost more than her month's rent. "Thank you," she whispered. "I didn't mean to cause trouble." Ethan shook his head. "You didn't, but what were you doing out here? You could have gotten frostbite." She smiled weakly. "It wouldn't be the first time I was cold." Something about her tone, the quiet strength, made him look at her more closely. Her hands were rough from constant washing, her eyes tired but kind. She was real. He dropped her off at her apartment building, a rundown complex with flickering hallway lights. But before she got out, she swayed. Her lips were pale, her breathing shallow. "Hey," he said, alarmed, "you're freezing." She tried to say she was fine, but her voice faded. Ethan didn't think, he acted. He carried her back to his car, wrapping his coat around her trembling body. "You're coming with me," he repeated, more firmly this time. When Lily woke up, she was in a warm bed. The room was modern, soft light spilling through tall windows. For a moment, she thought she was dreaming. Then she heard his voice. "You're awake." Ethan was standing at the doorway, holding a mug of tea. "You fainted last night," he said gently. "You were hypothermic. I couldn't just leave you there." She sat up, embarrassed. "You brought me to your house." He nodded. "I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable. I just didn't think you survived the night otherwise." Lily looked down at the oversized sweater she was wearing. It wasn't hers. "This is my sister," he said quickly. "She used to stay here before she moved abroad." The room suddenly felt quieter. "Thank you," Lily murmured, "but I should go. I have work in 2 hours." "You're not going anywhere until you've eaten," he said, handing her the tea. "Nurses save everyone else. Sometimes someone needs to save you too." She looked at him, surprised by the softness in his voice. Most people spoke at her. He spoke to her. Over the next few days, their paths kept crossing. Ethan had offered to drive her to work, insisting it was safer. Lily had resisted at first. She didn't want charity, but the morning snowstorms left her little choice. Soon, their drives became something she looked forward to. They talked about everything: her patients, his company, their families. He told her about his sister, who died 5 years ago from a rare illness. The same hospital Lily worked in had treated her. He donated millions to medical research afterward, but the guilt of not being there enough haunted him still. She told him about her mother, how she worked nights to pay for her medication, and how sometimes she skipped meals to make sure her brother could stay in school. Ethan admired her resilience. She reminded him that kindness didn't require wealth. But soon, the world outside started to notice. When photos surfaced online, Ethan Cross, the ruthless billionaire, seen picking up a nurse from a poor neighborhood, the media went wild. CEO's secret affair. Gold digger or guardian angel. Reporters followed her to work. Nurses whispered behind her back. Her supervisor called her in, warning that distractions could cost her job. Lily tried to end it. "Ethan, whatever this is, it's ruining my life," she said one night, tears in her eyes. People think I'm using you. I can't afford to lose my job. Ethan looked at her, his jaw tight. Do you care what they think? I have to, she whispered. I don't have your kind of freedom. He was silent for a long moment. Then he said, You're right, you don't have my freedom, but maybe I can use mine to give you some. The next day, Ethan showed up at the hospital, not in a suit, but in jeans and a hoodie, volunteering in the free clinic where Lily worked weekends. He signed up anonymously, helping patients fill out forms, running errands, and quietly funding new equipment. The staff's perception began to shift. They saw his sincerity. When Lily saw him kneeling beside a child, helping him with a toy car while waiting for his mother's test results, something inside her broke. She realized she wasn't just grateful anymore, she cared. Deeply. Then came the hardest challenge. Lily's mother collapsed one night. Her condition worsened. The hospital said the treatment would cost more than Lily could ever afford. She didn't tell Ethan. She didn't want to be a burden. But he found out. He showed up at her door, face pale, eyes full of pain. Why didn't you tell me? Because I'm not your responsibility, she cried. I don't want to be someone you save out of pity. He took her hand, trembling. It's not pity, Lily, it's love. I love you. The words hung between them, fragile and real. Tears filled her eyes. I don't need your money, Ethan. I know, he whispered, but I need you, and I'm not going to stand by while you lose someone you love. He paid for her mother's treatment anonymously. She recovered, and when Lily found out the truth, she didn't get angry. She went to him, hugged him tightly, and said, You've already given me the greatest gift, hope. Months later, spring bloomed across the city. The snow had melted, but the memory of that freezing night remained, the night that changed 2 lives. Ethan and Lily walked hand in hand through the park near the hospital. He started a foundation in his sister's name to support medical workers. Lily was one of its board members. They'd both found something worth more than money or titles: compassion, purpose, and love that grew out of a single act of kindness. Ethan smiled at her. You know, if I hadn't taken that wrong turn that night. She laughed softly. You mean the best turn of your life? He grinned. Exactly. She squeezed his hand. I guess sometimes the people we save end up saving us too. He looked at her with that same softness as the night he'd said, You're coming with me. Only now she wasn't a stranger. She was his home. Sparkle's moral of the story. One act of kindness can change 2 destinies. Never underestimate the power of compassion, because sometimes it's what turns a cold night into a lifetime of warmth.